What's up guys, welcome back to another Disgaea RPG video, and we're going to be looking at Diez, giving him a unit breakdown, and for me, this is one of the best units that isn't a badass fierce overlord unit that I've seen in a while now, and for me, I will be going straight to pity if it's required for him, because I think he's just that good. Especially as, say, a damage dealer overall. And in the future, he does have a role where he can just be a Braveheart support, because he does have Braveheart and Mega Braveheart. So if you do enjoy the video, guys, please do hit like, and if you want to see more Disgaea RPG content, then please do subscribe to the channel. So he is a gun unit. I mean, it would be pretty weird if he wasn't a gun unit, because he's holding a pretty massive gun. Stats-wise, he's got a high attack. It's going to work nicely in his favour because he's going to be a good damage. Attribute wise, only one he's got here that isn't 0 is a wind attribute. So looking at weapon mastery, gun is obviously 10, staff is 5, and I'll say it now, you're going to want to get it to at least 22 because of the spells he's got. I did forget to check his speed. What's he like for speed wise? 59 speed, so he's pretty quick. I'm very happy with that. That means I can put on some more damage dealing, more equipment, so and Orion's belt instead of lots more boots, so I'm happy with that. Other weapon mastery you want to look at is his bow and his fist, because he can fit on those teams as well. He's a bit more to offer on those teams than he does on, say, a sword, spear, etc. I mean, it's only like 15% extra damage, which is because of this lead ability, but it's still, I think, quite a nice little thing to put on teams where is going to work out better. So his first ability, his leader one, Famed Gunslinger, where damage dealt by the party gun, bow, and fist weapon equipped characters with special moves plus 15%. This is quite a broad wording, and I like it. So he can go on gun, bow, and fist teams, help them out with extra damage, and the reason these are gun, bow, and fist is because of other characters like Lucy and Torrichio, I think her name is. So Lucy's a bow, Torrichio's a fist, Diez is a gun. They're all going to be part of the new Anecdote Episode 2. That's their story thing. So he helps them out and anyone on those teams. And 15% for special moves is pretty decent. His NE +1 Elemental Bullet. This one, for me, is where he really begins to excel. Damage that you inflict with attribute attacks plus 60%. That is insane. Now, they've obviously made it so attribute attacks can be a bit iffy sometimes. The enemies can have high resistances to certain attributes, and that's going to really mess with this one. So they've buffed it quite high, I think. 60% is really high. If you add together the 60% plus extra 15% he's going to be getting from that leader ability as well. So it might not work exactly like a full damage dealt one, because it's attributes, so it's got to work out the attribute resistances first, and then you can add on the leader ability for the extra 15%, which is going to be pretty epic. I'm just going to say 75% because it's easier. It might not be the correct way to say it, but 75% damage dealt is really, really outrageous. I really like that. So he's NE +5, dual focus. At the start of wave, if there are 2 or more enemies, your action gauge plus 150. Now, it's quite often at the start of the wave there's going to be 2 enemies. Only on, say, stages where it's just like one boss, which for me is really not that often. And at the start of wave, I can't think of too many scenarios where there's only one enemy. So you're going to see this one quite a lot if you get him up to NE5. But it is just for him. It's not, say, a party-wide one. But it's still good for him because he's already fast. He gets this action gauge buff, so very good. He's NE +7, quick draw lessons, at the end of turn, speed plus 20% for 2 turns of the ally character whose action gauge is the first. It just means, say, that himself getting his own action gauge buff, and the person after him getting a speed buff as well. It means you're going quicker, more attacks going in, you can plan your buffing easier, your debuffing easier. It's really good. Might not say it's NE7 worthy, but I'm happier that his attribute attack damage buff is NE1 instead of NE7, because it's just going to help my Prinny hides and my rainbow Prinnies, so I don't need an extra 5 of them or 6 of them to get up to NE7. So let's look at his skills, and obviously because he's got this damage you inflict with attribute attacks plus 60% ability, all of his skills are of course attributes attached, which quite a lot of the time in previous videos I'm not too much of a fan of, but because he's got a broad range, I think it's okay. So he's got a wind AoE move here, Sonic Draw, decent damage, it's an AoE move, so it's going to be on the lower damage spectrum. Cheap costing, so one of those great ones that we can get off every turn. Once you leveled it up enough, so up down to 20 SP, you can get off every turn, perfect. Also has a AoE debuff the enemy of defense minus 3%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up. So if there's 5 enemies, it's like an overall debuff of 15%, so it is quite decent. And it's a wind move, so any enemy that has any sort of weakness to wind, and just I mean for any of his attribute moves, so if they've got a weakness to wind, the water or fire, if he hits them with that any one, the amount of damage it's going to be putting out is actually insane. So that's going to move me on to his Icicle Bullet, which is his next skill, a B to B plus damage, single attack, mid to cheap costing, and it also debuffs the enemy speed by 10%. Again, the same as the wind one. If the enemy's got that weakness, boom, the amount of damage, and just they're going to feel a world of hurt. And this any free skill, Outlaw Shot, S to S plus damage move. Expensive, but it does drop down when leveled up enough to just, I'd say, mid to expensive. So you're going to get that out quite often. A single target attack plus a buff for himself. So buffing his own attack by 30% and smacking the enemy about as well. And it's fire damage, and I can't wait to see an S plus rank move against an enemy with a fire weakness with him at any one. That is going to be incredible, and I cannot wait to see that. So his magic spells, which just make him even better, just tops him off even more. Braveheart, speed down, shield, mega Braveheart, mega speed down, and mega shield. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to want to get him up to, say, level 30 on this, because it's going to be a lot of investment on, say, mana. For me, I'm going to want him to get him quite high on gun. I may get him high on bow as well, because I don't need a fist unit, but having him as my bow damage dealer and my gun damage dealer might work out quite nicely for me, but I definitely want to give him to 22 for that Mega Braveheart, for obvious reasons, for just buffing him around all the time. It's going to be perfect, just so that you can buff anyone in the future, or anyone now, if there's someone who does more damage, but he can go on their team. So just say even like Overlord Calidia, he can go on that team. He's given Calidia that leader ability plus 15% damage dealt. He can Mega Braveheart Calidia if he wants. So it's really good. I'm really liking what he's bringing to teams in terms of damage dealing, supporting the team as well, the buffs he can give off, the debuffs he can give to enemies, so Mega Speed Down. So Mega Speed Down is a fairly rare spell, not something you see too often. It's not something I'm going to say go for. I think having the level 9 at Speed Down is going to be enough. It's not something you can use that often. Say in raids, it might be quite nice stopping the enemies at higher levels, getting some more moves on you, but it's not something I'm going to be focusing on too much. If I want to try it out, it's there, but having Shield and Mega Braveheart, that's plenty enough for me. And as I said, I will be going straight to the pity if needs be. I need this guy. Awakened Rosalind as a gun badass unit. She can deal great damage, but she doesn't have that cheap AoE I need, or that I want, that I can just pound continuous waves with. But with her SP plus 15 she's going to be giving him, she gives him those basic stats as well for guns. It's going to be very good. And when we think about attribute moves as well, so let's have a look at just the normal basic skills we can learn. So if we look at weapon skills, so I'm just going to mostly focus on gun, bow, and fists, because they're the ones that he can support. So he can get this shotgun, so he can get shotgun craft or totem cruise, fire attribute moves, so he's going to get that extra damage dealt from them, and it is a lot of extra damage. They're fire ones, and they're both AoE moves, that they're quite good as well. On the bow team, so we know he gets the wind move Zelgren, but he's already got his cheap AoE move, so getting Zelgren might not be as desirable. Galaxy Comet, on the other hand, could be pretty handy to have. He doesn't have a start attribute move in his skill set, so that wouldn't be too bad one to have. It's pretty expensive, but you're going to drop it down when you level it up. So it says 65 there, but you're going to get it to at least 60, and even below then. And on Fist, you've got Hurricane Blow and Big Bang. Big Bang is a very expensive star move. Again, it's an AoE one, and it can hit people with the Forget effect. But as I've said, personally for me, I'm not leveling up as a Fist. I want him as a gun, and he won't be as high on the bow side for me, but I will get him up to bow for a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to have the mana to go for Galaxy Comet on the bow, leveling up as a gun, and getting him to Mega Braveheart as Staff 22. That's going to be quite a hefty investment in mana potions, I imagine. But I'll see how it goes. I'm willing to put some mana potions into him, especially if he's going to be a broad damage dealer for 2 turns. I'm more than willing to put quite a bit of mana potions into him. I haven't used loads of them. I've used a few on Clydia, I've used a few on Devil Liz, but I've still got some spare that I can use for Diez. And we're always going to get more with the story events that are coming out. So there you have it, guys. There is Diez. I mean, I like gunslingers. I like old western films, so this is right up my street, and I can't wait to get him. I can't wait to see how his story progresses as well in the anecdote. I mean, I hope I do like him. It'll be really annoying if I get this unit that I really want because of their abilities, and then we see this guy, and he's got a really crappy personality, or just a bit of a dick. So I'm hoping he's pretty good, and I'm hoping that he doesn't disappoint me in that respect. So anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. Let me know if you've got a summon for him as well. And if you did enjoy the video, please do hit like. And if you want to see more Disgaea RPG content, as I said at the start, please do hit subscribe for the channel. Bye.